Hi, today I want to talk about turning money into long-term wealth. So you've got a good job, you're making good money, maybe even great money. But if you're honest, it still feels like you're running a race you can't win. The student loans are gone, you've built a solid career, you're investing, saving, doing everything right. But between taxes and lifestyle pressure and burnout from trying to juggle it all, you're wondering, is all this effort actually building lasting wealth or just funding a more expensive version of the grind? Hi, I'm Nathan Seeley, founder of Brass Ring Wealth Management. I help high-income professionals, families, and business owners reduce taxes, grow wealth, and build financial plans that actually support the life they want without sacrificing their health, relationships, or peace of mind in the process. If that's the balance you're looking for, you're in the right place. But before we dive in, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss future videos just like this. Now let's walk through the key wealth-building traps high-earning millennials fall into and what to do instead if you want real financial freedom without burning out along the way. Let's get into it. Define what wealth actually means to you. Let's start here, because if you don't get this right, no financial strategy will ever feel like it's enough. A lot of millennials grew up with two messages from the same time. Follow your passion, and you'll need to hustle harder or you'll fall behind. So what happens? You hit your late 20s, 30s, maybe even early 40s, making six figures, but constantly feeling like you're on a treadmill. You're earning well, but still anxious about the future. You're saving, but not sure if it's enough. You're investing, but don't have a clear path. And deep down, you're wondering, what's the point of all this if I'm always stressed? That's why the first step isn't about spreadsheets or investment returns. It's about defining what financial independence looks like. Not to your parents, not to your boss, not to the internet, but you. Is it retiring at 50 with full freedom? Is it working 3 days a week by 45? Is it building enough wealth so you never feel stuck in a job you don't love? No one knows you and what the finish line looks like, but you can reverse engineer your plan. Here's a quick framework I use to help clients get clarity. Enough to live. What does your baseline lifestyle cost today? Enough to grow. What are you investing toward that creates freedom later? Enough to enjoy. What are you spending on today that brings genuine satisfaction, not just status? If you're not clear on those three levels, you can easily fall into the trap of working for a life you don't actually want, just because it looks good on paper. This is how high earners end up feeling poor. They never define what wealth means beyond a number. But the wealthy, the ones who retire early and live fully, don't just chase money, they build with purpose. Use automation to protect your energy and build consistency. Let's face it, if your wealth building plan depends on willpower, it's eventually going to break down. Because as high-income millennial, you've got a lot on your plate already. Work, relationships, family, travel, maybe even building a business or side hustle. So here's the key. You need systems, not just good intentions. Automation is how the wealthy stay consistent without overthinking every dollar. And the good news, you don't need 47 apps or complicated spreadsheets to do this. Just a few smart moves. Pay yourself first automatically. If you wait until the end of the month to decide what to invest or save, odds are you'll spend more than you meant to. Instead, set up auto transfers to move money the day your paycheck hits. Retirement accounts, 401k, Roth IRA, SEP IRA if you're self-employed. Use high-interest savings for short-term goals. Use investment accounts, brokerage, or taxable accounts for flexibility. This turns wealth into a default behavior, not a decision you have to make over and over again. Use a 3-account system for your cash flow. Want to avoid the burnout of budgeting every latte, but still feel in control? Set up your personal cash flow like a business. Fixed account for bills, mortgage, insurance, subscriptions. Flex account for lifestyle, food, fun, and travel. Freedom account for your future investments and big savings goals. When you divide your income this way, you don't have to track every transaction. Just monitor the big picture and adjust as your income grows. You can also set quarterly review dates, not daily stress. The wealthy don't check their accounts every day, they check their strategy. So block off one morning each quarter, review what came in, what went out, and what's next. Ask yourself, am I still on track for the goals I care about? Do I need to adjust my contributions or cash flow? Am I spending in a way that feels aligned with my values? You'll be amazed how much clarity and momentum you can get from just 90 minutes, 4 times a year. The bottom line, automation protects your energy so you can focus on living your life, not micromanaging your money. It's how high-income millennials go from hustling hard to building wealth on autopilot without burning out along the way. Next, invest for growth, not just safety. One of the biggest traps high-income millennials fall into is playing it too safe with their money. And it makes sense. When you've worked hard for your income, the last thing you want is to lose it. But here's the reality. You can't build long-term wealth with short-term thinking. Leaving too much in cash, CDs, or low-yield savings accounts might feel safe, but over time you're actually losing money to inflation. So let's talk about the wealthy approach to investing, because they just don't save money. They put their money to work. Understand your time horizon. If you're in your 30s or early 40s, time is your biggest advantage. That means you could afford to take on more growth-oriented investments like equities, real estate, or even private market opportunities, as long as you're not touching that money for 10 plus years. You don't need your retirement money to be safe today. You need it to be bigger tomorrow. That's why ultra-conservative portfolios, especially early in your journey, can hold you back. Build an investment strategy, not just a portfolio. Wealthy investors don't chase hot stocks or try to time the market. Instead, they diversify across tax-advantaged and taxable accounts. They allocate based on their goals and risk tolerance. They use asset location to reduce taxes, i.e. growth in Roth, bonds, and an IRA. And they rebalance regularly, not emotionally. It's not about the latest fund, it's about aligning your investments with a clear plan and sticking to it when things get noisy. Next, don't let volatility derail you. Yes, markets will go down, but what matters most is staying invested through the ups and downs, because the cost of missing the best days in the market is massive. Here's the truth. The wealthy don't panic sell when headlines get scary. They don't pull money out at the bottom. They follow the plan because they know their portfolio was built for volatility in the first place. So if you've been holding off on investing because it's risky, the real risk isn't investing. The real risk is standing still while everything else moves forward. Whether you're saving for retirement, a future business, or financial freedom by 50, investing with a long-term mindset is how you get there faster. Lastly, avoid the lifestyle trap. Design your life, don't just fund it. Let's be honest, when you're earning well into six figures, it's easy to fall into a trap. The house gets bigger, the vacations get fancier, the clothes, car, wine, all step up. And before you know it, you're funding a lifestyle you never actually planned for. This is a lifestyle creep, and it's subtle, but it doesn't feel like a problem until it is. The problem is this: your spending keeps rising with your income, but your freedom doesn't. You look successful, are checking every box, but your stress levels are rising. You're working harder and longer with no end in sight, and your savings rate stuck where it was 5 years ago. So here's the reframe. Your lifestyle should reflect your goals, not compete with them. If your goal is to retire early, build a business, or create real-time freedom, then you can't let lifestyle expenses balloon in the background. The most financially free clients I work with live well below their means by choice. They automate their saving and investing first, then they spend the rest guilt-free. They don't deprive themselves, but they're intentional. They define what enough looks like and build a life around that. Because a $100,000 car means nothing if you're stuck working 60 hours a week to keep up with it. Freedom beats flex every time. So use the planning advantage. Wealth without mental overload. Let's wrap this up with the final piece that makes everything easier. You need a plan, not a budget, not a list of money goals, a real strategic financial plan that aligns your income, taxes, investments, and lifestyle around what you want. Because without a plan, you're forced to make money decisions on the fly every time life changes. Should you max out your Roth or 401k? Can you afford to take 6 months off work? Are you overpaying on taxes and not even realizing it? These questions are draining and they pop up constantly. But when you have a clear plan, you're no longer reacting, you're executing. You know how much you need to save and invest. You know when you can scale back work. You know what financial independence actually looks like and how close you are. That kind of clarity reduces decision fatigue, boosts confidence, and helps you avoid burnout. And most importantly, it helps you build wealth on your terms. So, if you're a high-income millennial and you're feeling the pressure to earn, save, invest, and plan, all while avoiding burnout, you're not alone. But you don't need to figure it all out on your own either. This is what real financial planning is for. We work with professionals, business owners, and high earners in their 30s and 40s who want to build wealth the smart way, with less stress and more strategy. If you're ready to see what that might look like for you, book a call using the link in the description. We'll take a look at your income, your goals, your current path, and help you design a plan that works for your life now and for your future. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps more people find the clarity that they're looking for. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.